All right, everybody, welcome back to the #1 television program in the history of the entire universe. I am Brian Lee Durfee, author of The Forgetting Moon, The Blackest Heart, and The Lonesome Crown, all three books published by Simon & Schuster's Saga Press. Today I'm going to be reviewing Kilow by Louis L'Amour. This is a Western. You know I love Louis L'Amour books. We've been reading and reviewing all of them for the channel. In fact, I got my entire Louis L'Amour book collection over here in the library right there. Probably close to 100 Louis L'Amour books, novels, short story collections, all that. Anyway, let's get to the book at hand, Kilow. Came out in 1962. Let's review the cover first because I like graphic design and cover illustration. This has got a pretty cool painting by an illustrator that I just couldn't figure out who did it. Not on the internet. It's not mentioned in the book, but a decent, old-timey Western illustration nonetheless. Okay, so this book starts out in 1858. This is the Louis L'Amour book that is closest to Lonesome Dove that I've seen, although it's way shorter, way less brutal. This is more PG, and far few characters. But it is about a cattle drive, which is what Lonesome Dove was. My favorite novel of all time, well, one of my top 5 favorite novels of all time, Lonesome Dove. Now, this came out in 1958. Lonesome Dove came out in 1988. Maybe makes me wonder, was Larry McMurtry influenced by Kilow? I don't know, because there's a lot of similarities here. So, Kilow, his name is Dan Kilow. He's tough, he's tall, he's rough, he's raw, he's lightning fast with a pistol. Just the type of, gunfighter we need to go on a cattle drive, right? He and his friends herd a group of cattle and settlers. So there's a group of cattle and settlers. It's kind of like that show 1883 or whatever that was, the prequel to Yellowstone with Tim McGraw and Faith Hill and, all those. Anyway, that's what's going on. A cattle drive from Texas further west, into the west, into unsettled territory. We got cattle, we've got settlers, we've got some gunfighters, and of course things can only go wrong. Immediately upon their journey, they kind of give shelter. This cattle drive group kind of gives shelter to a stranger, a loner that sort of wanders in, and not the best idea because he's a man that's being hunted by Soto, the scar-faced leader of the renegade Comanche tribe that is going to be, the protagonists throughout this book. So, Dan Kilow, our tall gunslinger, he's got not only friends and family and settlers and love interests, of course, but they all must battle the elements on this cattle drive, the harshness of the West, horse thieves, cattle rustlers, infighting amongst themselves, Comanches, and just all the stuff that made Lonesome Dove great, and it makes this book good too. This book is told in the first person. Not my favorite way to read a story. I kind of would have liked more of an kind of like a omnipresent view of everything, kind of like the way the Lonesome Dove did it. Anyway, just like most of Louis L'Amour books, the Old West is a time when men had to be violent just to survive. That's kind of the theme of this. Good men have to, just to survive in this landscape, they've got to be they got to be good, but ready to wreak violence when needed. That's kind of the theme of this. It's a time when family and friends were everything. There was no internet to distract them. There was no television shows or movies to go to or sports bars to hang out at and NFL games to watch. Literally, the campfire and the family and all of that is just, you were on an adventure with these people. You had to protect them. And that's kind of what's going on in this book. What's yours is yours. and you will kill anybody to keep it. That's the way the Old West was. Um, since I was comparing this book as I was reading it, it's only 150 pages. I read it in like an hour. Since I was comparing this book to two of my favorite Western things of all time, Lonesome Dove and 1883, you know, the prequel to Yellowstone, which are two of my favorite pieces of entertainment ever created, I was finding this one to fall short in every category, just because it is a short book, and because it is told in the first person. It is very sparse. It is this the story just zooms through, but that's kind of the way Louis L'Amour kind of was. So I'm gonna give this one a 7 out of 10. I enjoyed it for what it was. I think there's been cattle drive stories that have been told better recently, but it is what it is. So that's my review of Kilow.